Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that this podcast format of mine is not related just to sports and health. It's related to all topics that it's interesting to me. So this podcast, the Grandline podcast, is a hobby of mine and is not related to my work. So I just wanted to let you know because some people ask me about the direction where it's going now, and it's obviously going in an unknown journey. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know, and I hope you like in today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have Bella Marciano. She is a mother at the first place. She's living in New York, and we met while I saw her on a Gary Vee show, and I just texted her because I thought her message is really, really something that could help people, especially young men and women who are suffering from any kind of difficulty in life. And that would lead me to my first question, Bella. How do you deal with struggle?
How do I deal with struggle?
Hmm.
So first, let me thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited. I deal with struggle by, I've just recently started meditating. I write in brain dump in a journal. And I just try to think of, I've been here before, I've been through worse, and I'm still here, so I gotta just keep going,
Yeah, don't look back, and just focus on the good things in life, and
exactly.
the positivity. That's really interesting.
And surround myself with the love of my kids too. That's the best.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the most precious things to get in life, to have children and raise them. You got your children pretty early in your life.
Yes.
When was it?
I had my first son when I was 16 years old. My second one, 26, and then I had my daughter when I was 30. So yeah, I had them spaced out, and I was with the father of my boys for over 11 years, on and off. It was just a really bad relationship. So it wasn't like together, it was more of like on and off kind of obsession type relationship.
But many people experience this, especially young women, when they fell in love with somebody when they are quite young. They think that like he is the only one, the knight on the horse,
the savior.
The savior, yeah, right. Yeah. But it isn't. He's not. It's just a Disney stuff thing, and
yes, and it's I'm so sorry.
Oh, good.
I think a lot of it too is I know for me, I was 15 years old when I met the father of my children. I was 15. Of course, I told him I was 16. He told me he was 18, and I ended up pregnant at 16. I saw him as I really didn't even like him at first, to be honest. But my best friend was dating his cousin, and they were new in this part of town, city, whatever. And I just started hanging around with them, and as more we were leaving, we were going and doing things, I was getting away from my home life, which was broken at the time. I was young. I was in juvenile systems at 13, 14 years old for stealing cars, being out on the streets. I was a badass kid. I'm not gonna lie, but I also did not have no direction from my mother. You know, I came from a broken home, you know, a very confusing life I was born into. So I'm not saying that that's, you know, that that's what I'm supposed to do. So I ended up thinking that, wow, you know, I thought that this person was everything, and it wasn't. And it was everything that I was lacking to, you know, self-love. And it was stupid. And I got involved very young. I was a mother at 16, and the abuse started almost right away.
Seriously?
After I had my kid. Yeah, it was more of controlling at first. At first it was, you know, the flowers, gifts, you name it. He was very materialistic. So I you know, I was totally opposite. So, you know, I didn't really give a shit, and I especially didn't plan on getting pregnant. You know, I was a dancer, not a stripper, a dancer. And I had plans of going on tour as backup dancer. I had all these plans, you know what I mean? And I got pregnant. So obviously my parents are old school. They were not happy with it. I had to get emancipated in court. And then it's almost like, you know, here I am now. I'm out on my own. And now he's starting to act here. I don't want you with this person. I don't want you doing this. I don't want you doing that. And, you know, I have made a couple videos on YouTube talking about it, experiences I've had with him. And it lasted for over 11 years. Like I said, there was every kind of abuse you could think of: physical, emotional, sexual, you name it. And I don't regret. It was, if I knew better, I would have done better when I was younger. You know what I mean?
We all
I
do.
have children, you know, and my kids are my life. So there's a reason for everything. I strongly believe that. And I feel that I went through what I went through so I could take it, I understand now, and help other people that might be going through it. Domestic abuse, or depression, because I got very depressed afterwards and had post-traumatic stress disorder. And, you know, ended up with a seizure disorder from him. The last time he assaulted me, he physically assaulted me and sexually assaulted me, and I ended up with blunt force trauma in my head. So I ended up having seizures. And working in the emergency field, you know, I had a seizure on my shift and I lost my job. And so, I mean, I know the struggles. I've had a lot of trials and tribulations, and I got severely depressed, and I dealt with about 6 years of depression, and that I just felt robbed. I was so mad and angry, you know, just like I lived with a lot of resentment and guilt, because I felt like, why did I stay? Why did I? Why? And, you know, I lived in the past and I lived in my head, and it's just no good, like no good. And I feel like anybody that's experiencing any controlling behavior to young, you know, the young ones, and even, it doesn't matter if you're 16 or you're 46, it's not, you just leave it alone. It's not worth it. You know, a lot of these girls, like that bad boy thing, and those bad boys a lot of times act controlling, or, you know, it's not worth it. You know, if you hear and he has other girlfriends and stuff like that, like, you're going to put yourself through the ringer, comparing yourself to other chicks, and, you know, getting cheated on. And then the physical abuse, I could have died, you know. There are women that have died. I have gone to scenes of domestic abuse that have turned fatal. I can use my voice. Some people can't use their voice. They can't. And some that can are too scared.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's like a tear in your soul, which is caused by another human being which you thought you loved and is your, like, the father of your or children, and you would think of somebody who does that to you as not the children of your father, of the father of your children.
Right.
But yeah, if like this red flags show up, like he's acting strange or she's acting strange, or if you have the feeling that you are abused and this red signs show up, you have to get the fuck out of there.
Yes. Get the fuck out and run.
Yeah. And run. Run the hell
Don't
away.
look back.
No.
And don't look back, because a lot of times they'll say, well, I'll never do it again. Just come home. Just come home. I've had that happen. And guess what? It was never his home for me to go home to. It was always my place that he would end up breaking into or something. And, you know, it's like, it was just as bad. It was just as bad if you go to the house, you know what I mean? Because now you're getting your ass beat when you just thought, okay,
It's done.
Everything's okay, you know?
That's
the
horrible.
Signs. Yeah. I mean, you know, and then when drugs get involved, you know, when that person starts, you know, abusing drugs, or if they have a mental illness or something, it got 10 times worse, you know? So, and, you know, this person's about 3 times my size. I'm only 5 feet, 130 pounds, you know, or 5'1". But
what would be your other advice for young people? If somebody's listening right now and they are young, like you were back then, what would be your advice for them?
my advice would be to listen, get your education. Don't worry about having a man's child just because you love him. In some cases, girls try to, you know, or even guys. It doesn't matter who, think that having a baby is going to keep them together. It's not going to keep you together, you know. If he's humiliating you, and when I say he, I'm saying he or she, so I'm just going to use he for now, though.
Yeah.
You know, telling you can't hang out with certain people, or you cannot wear certain things, or, oh, why aren't you answering my calls? Or those are all red flags of something toxic coming. And that something toxic coming, that's just a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get better.
It's just
like,
the tip of the iceberg.
It's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, that I feel like if somebody needs to control somebody like that and have, you know, narcissistic ways or whatever, then they really have some issues, and you can't trust that. You can't trust that.
Yeah.
Especially if you have, you know, fucking kids too. Don't go getting mixed up with these dudes that, you know, they're giving you all this attention and, hey, where you been? A lot of females like myself when I was younger was like, oh, it's because he loves me, you know, he wants to know where I am, like, all the time. And then it was like, the fuck? Like, why am I was trying to convince myself, you know, And then it turned into in front of his friends. The first time he ever put his hands on me, he choked me. And I threw myself out the bedroom window backwards onto the front stoop because I couldn't get away. He was choking me, and I had just gotten out of the hospital after a uterus infection after having my son. And he had ripped my shirt off of me. I had to run to my friend's house, who is a male whose father answered the door, and I was only in pajama pants. And it was humiliating and embarrassing. And I still, I didn't understand it, but, it was just like, I don't know why I was young, but don't stay. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. That's truly how I feel. If someone can change, that's great. But at a young age, you have your whole life ahead of you. I've seen people, even such as myself, from 15 years old to almost 20, to almost 27, I'm with somebody that is doing these things to me. But I was trying to get away, but he was also, he stalked me. It was like never ending. He used my son. And so you don't want to get in that cycle. I mean, there's so much to life. I missed a lot of years of my life. So,
paying
attention.
say,
I would say educate yourself, look up. You could Google if somebody does something. He pushed me. If you Googled he pushed me, it's going to come up. Boom, domestic violence. There's so many resources now. I didn't have those. We had a fucking library. We didn't have Google like that.
Mm-hmm.
So at my age, being pregnant, I had to go to a library, and I didn't. But I also didn't have the guidance, of maybe if I had more guidance, maybe if my mother talked to me more about that. I don't know, but it is what it is, and it's in the past, and I have 3 beautiful children,
Yeah. And did you overcome it for now? Or do you
I definitely overcame it.
Yeah.
There's still things I have to heal, but when I overcame, the battle of overcoming something like that is not going back. You cannot go back no matter what they say, and till this day, he knows where I live, he knows what I drive, he knows everything, but everybody also knows if something happens to me, so I mean, it's not a great way to live. And if I got out a few years earlier, but at the same time, I wouldn't have the blessing of my second son.
That's amazing. That you have this beautiful children.
Thank you.
How did you overcome the anxiety and the depression?
So the depression had gotten to the point where I just didn't want to live anymore, and I didn't have a plan or nothing like that. I just would sit and overthink. I would sit on my back stoop for hours every day while the kids were in school, and just overthink and overthink and overthink, because I wasn't working, I ended up where I was praying to die, and I decided I needed to see a psychiatrist. I had saw one right after I had ended the relationship, but I was not depressed right after I ended the relationship. So it was kind of weird. It caught up to me afterwards, so it was, I had time to think about everything. And I realized that, when I was in the relationship, I was in survival mode. So, I had to go see a psychiatrist. The first step of that is admitting you have to do it, you know what I mean? To yourself, not to anybody else. I had my own mother say, oh, go take your crazy pills, because I took antidepressant, and she screamed that in front of my own children, my own kids, so it's just like, I had to go see a therapist. I mean, I had to take those steps because I was just so depressed. I was having severe PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The anxiety attacks were terrible. And so, I mean, I still get anxiety attacks once in a while, but I focus on where I see myself in 5 years with my kids down south, living where there's palm trees, and I try to ground myself with an anchor thought, something, an anchor thought, something that anchors you, holds you down, and you can close your eyes and really think about, because our bodies getting anxious is that fight or flight. And it's actually, when we get anxious, it's the same as getting excited, overly excited. If you want $1,000,000, it's the same thing. It's just that your body's telling you you're scared and you don't know if you should,
It's a response mechanism.
Yes, a response mechanism. You said it. I still have to sometimes say, you know what, Val, okay, like, this is what you need to think about to stop this. I have to, you literally have to retrain your mind. You have to. You have to. Because your subconscious is a recorder. Your subconscious mind records everything. Even when you're sleeping, it records things. That's why they say don't sleep with like the TV on or something like that. Your subconscious mind is a motherfucker.
Yeah, man. It's all right. I like this type. To just go back to the psychiatrist thing, I think that in our society, people think that it's so bad to go there. But for me, in my eyes, this guy studied psychology, and he's such a great information source for people. And you just go there and you talk with him what's going on in your mind, and he can help you. I don't understand why people are thinking that it's like a bad thing to do or like a weak thing to do.
Right.
I don't
and
get
you put it so simply. You put it so simply. I never even thought of it like that, but you're so right.
Yeah.
It is. It's like you're. My mother acted like I had I had a disease or like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And but now she's depressed and on antidepressants, and we don't have a relationship because of the ways she is, and it's unfortunate, but I have to love her from a distance,
Yeah, I can
I have
understand
to,
this.
because it gets to the point where it's so toxic that it's weighing on me. I chose to move forward. I could be in some people get used to those kind of relationships and they just go into another one and then another one, and it's a vicious cycle because they're used to those type of relationships.
And also these people could never be happy because they seek happiness in other people.
Exactly.
That's another big thing in our culture and our society. I mean, I have also friends who are always in relationships.
Yep.
And after 10
because
years,
they're afraid to be alone.
Sure.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, shit, man. Wait till you're not alone for a while, and then you're gonna be like, damn, can I be alone for a little while?
This Corona thing also forced some people to stay alone for a lot of time. Maybe it changed a little bit.
And you know what? It also changed for the worse with people, and that's coming from the national domestic violence statistics. During COVID, it spiked through the roof because people are stuck home. So the hotlines, we're getting way more calls. I know, here they were.
That's horrible.
Because, yeah. And I volunteer on a crisis text line. And, a lot of people are very anxious with the COVID thing, but also there's a lot of domestic abuse coming through those crisis text lines. It's crazy. But, hopefully somebody, if you're in that situation, you can tell somebody, or if you're afraid, make a plan with somebody that you trust. And then, you can
get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, I can say that I I can sit here and say that, but there's times where I didn't know if I would even see my kids again, because I would pass out from being choked so hard. I just wouldn't, So I feel that, yes, I went through the depression. I went through all that because now I have to recycle it. I have to recycle it. And I've made that choice. So then, if anybody needed to talk to me or for me to tell my story, because there's a lot to it, then I'll be that person. I'll be that voice. I'll use my voice. Some people merely whisper. And, this beautiful woman, Marisol, she had sent me, she said, be the voice for those who merely whisper. And I was like, oh my God, quote that. Like, whoa, like, that's fucking deep. I was like, damn. And I felt then, that was the day I was on Gary Vee's show. I felt then like, holy shit, like, I got to do this. Like, I gotta fucking do this. I gotta start YouTube. I have to do this because what did I go through all the suffering for?
That's nice of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just love, I love people, and I know what it's like to be in a fucked up situation and be so ashamed and not even want to tell anybody, but people know, people knew.
So, but your advice is pretty heavy in this case. You are credible. So
thank you.
That's why I think if we just put it online and it stays there, and one person who is in a bad situation discover us, this
one
podcast
person
for you, as Gary said, if we just can help one person, we did a good thing.
Yes, it mean the world. Like, one person, I always say that, each one teach one. If you one person, I would be so happy. Like, I had women DM me telling me there things that they have not talked about, and there was at least 2 of them that haven't seen a counselor. One of them I know now is seeing a counselor. Like, we keep in touch, know, and it's amazing. Like, they're talking to me. Even men, talking to me about experiences with, sexual abuse or domestic. Unbelievable. I cannot tell you the feeling, like, when you're helping somebody else. It's this
even better to get a paycheck of 10,000, 100,000 euros. It's even better than that because it's more noble, or noble, in a more noble, novel.
I think I don't know.
Bella, you was talking about anchoring, this type of it is like a thing, a mindfulness thing. Do you have any more tools like this that you use sometimes to just
affirmations?
Positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations.
They are huge. I'm using them.
They are huge. I have a corner, so when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I see is pictures of my kids, little things they've made me, and then sticky notes of affirmations everywhere. On the mirrors in this house that everybody knows. If you go to the Marciano house, there's stickies all over the mirrors saying, you're beautiful. I'm proud of you. You're great. And it's good for the kids' friends to see too, So, I mean, I do a lot with the affirmations. And I also, YouTube is huge when it comes to inspirational and motivational videos. I can't tell you, those videos have changed my life when I was going through depression. Those videos, and I would pause it and take notes because it was just like
positivity in your ear.
Yeah, I was so stuck that I punched in on YouTube. That's what's just so funny, is I'm stuck. And it was like these inspirational videos just started popping up. And I started listening to David Goggins, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Gary Vee, Tom Bilyeu, all them, and it changed my life.
Yeah, I really love David Goggins.
He's amazing.
I read his book and I listened to his podcast, like this audio/radio show.
He is amazing.
He is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, like what he get through.
He's been through a lot.
Yeah.
At Marathon you saw too, and then him as a young kid with the racial stuff. Like, he is awesome. Like, I really like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys, like, hey, I don't know them, but like I say, like, I'm at Gary Vee now, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know them, but they helped change my life.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I can be that person for somebody to help change their corner of their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just put out content.
Yes. I need to.
Yeah, this kind of things I also do, and I see them as my mentors, but they don't even know that I exist. I thought about writing a letter or something like this to some of them and just being grateful to what they do.
Definitely. I DM them, like, that. Why not? I don't blow up in their DMs or not, but I'm just like, thank you. If you ever do see this, I know you'll probably never fucking see it, but thank you. Like, thank you for existing. Like, because I feel like if I was 16 at this moment in 2020, it'd be so different. Like, there's so many resources out there now. There's help out there, that it's like you could be okay, and there's so much you can learn. And I'm telling you, those speeches
you can even treat yourself.
Yeah.
With courses and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I did with going to life coaching courses. I got certified in my transformational and my solution focused.
Cool.
And I did the public speaking class because I was like, you know what? I'm not going back into the emergency medicine. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a speaker. I want to travel. I want to do this. Like, I'm ready,
And you're still pretty young. You have almost the half left.
What? What? You and Gary, man. Gary says I have 60 more years. Yeah. I'm still pretty young.
I mean, it's just a number, like money in your bank account. Who the hell cares? I mean, old people. Who gives a fuck? I talk with many old people, and I ask them, "How is your brain working now with 70 and 80? Do you still have this young soul, or what is it?" And they always respond to me that I still feel as I was 20, but now I'm feeling that everything takes a little bit longer.
Aww.
So it starts with like 70, 80, but still, we are so young. In Germany, people go into the rent when they are 67, and I always say that I want to go there when I'm 80. When I'm 67, I still have so much energy. If somebody say, "Oh, you don't need to work anymore," what do I do? Drinking margaritas for 2 weeks, and then I don't want to
eating bonbons.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it will get boring. I will get bored. So I think just having goals is so important. And that would
Definitely
be my next question. How important are goals for you?
Goals are very important for me. Almost. Okay, so goals are very important for me, but I'm very hard on myself. And just in the past month, I've started being kinder to myself, because I'll make a goal like, okay, this week I'm gonna blah, 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 but I'll make them too much, too big to do all in 1 week. And then when I don't do it, I get mad at myself or get upset, with myself. So now what I'm doing is, it's like, okay, on Sunday, just I think about things that I need to do during the week or the month or the year. And I just think it over every Sunday. And then I have micro goals that are little ones that'll get me to the macro goal, you know, the big one. So goals are very important to me. I just, I always beat myself up over it if I didn't journal. Now I journal when I want to journal. Before, I used to be like, okay, I got to journal every single day. If I missed a day, I'd beat myself up, you know? So yeah, goals are important, but don't overwhelm yourself. Make micro little goals to lead up to that, you know, that big goal.
Yeah, to just
stepping stones.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, that's what they get discouraged. You know, me, okay, every year I'll see the 2020 planner. It's so cute, you know, got the little stickers and shit. And I'm like, I'm getting this. This is my year. I'm going to fill it out every day. I'm going to put a sticker. Man, January was popping, right? Every day. February, it's like, till I got to like the 9th, it was like, okay, skip to the 12th, skip to the, it's because why did I tell myself I have to do that every single day? And then when I missed a day, oh shit, I didn't do. Can't do that to yourself. You know what I mean? Micro goals.
You have to be kind to yourself.
I'm learning that. I'm learning that. I'm still a work in progress, you know?
We all are. Yes,
definitely. But yeah, that's how I have been tackling my goals. Like, I give myself a break. I'm a good procrastinator, and I hate that. So I'm trying to break that and you know, do what I say I'm gonna do. Basically.
I'm remembering one quote of one mentor of mine, Jordan Peterson. Do you know him?
No.
I will send a link to you. He's a very, very interesting guy. And he told that you need to be responsible of yourself like you care for somebody else. Like, for example, you care as a mother about your children a lot, but you should care about yourself at least as much as you care for your children.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah. When you really take yourself out of that, and wow, I'll have to write that down. Yeah, send me this. I'd like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I do it.
That's nice. I do almost the same.
I just don't want to put that pressure on myself anymore because I noticed my mood when I didn't do something. I noticed my mood. I could say, well, all right, it's okay, whatever, but I still had that like chip on my shoulder with myself, you know? Yeah. So now I'm just learning to forgive myself. Like, okay, you didn't do it, but you're going to do it.
Yeah, I have the similar situation when I was younger, when I was like a very big gym goer. And when I couldn't hit the gym, I was like sad. But in the end, just go the next day and hit it harder.
Right. Exactly. That's how it was with my squats. I'm like, I'm going to do squats every day. I'm going to do 60. I'm going to go up to 120. I got my squats. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm talking about this is my break day. Yeah. Wednesday is my break day, right? Thursday comes. I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot to do my squats. What do? Oh, I'll just go 120 tomorrow. I'll start over on Monday. Friday. I'm just like, yeah, I know. And then I would get mad at myself. Like, so I get it.
Yeah, I think being mad at yourself is the worst thing you could do, because you should love yourself in the first place and say the words to yourself that you would like other people tell you. At least you can tell it to yourself. Yeah. And do you exercise regularly?
I take my, like my dog for a walk, or, I don't I need to start exercising regularly, but with certain, stretching and stuff
Yeah.
I do, but no, not much.
Not everybody needs to do it.
I need to. I don't know.
It just gives me energy. I feel so grounded after I went to the gym or I do some exercises. I just feel relaxed and on zero.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
But
Bella, do you have anything
yeah.
else to tell the world?
Just, love each other, be more kind. If you see somebody's in trouble, don't reach out to that person. Make sure you reach out to them. Don't judge them. Don't pass judgment.
Yeah.
And if somebody's going through, whether it's depression, whether it's whatever it is, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone. There's so many people going through it that will be there and support you. Like, shit, I'll support you.
Mm.
We gotta be there for each other.
Mm.
So I would say just love more, and stop this hate madness shit, and let's just all live in like unity. Like, the fuck.
United we stand.
Exactly.
Because all lives matter.
That everybody has to, it's a trying time right now. Like, the world's going a little crazy right now, so we all have to be more
conscious.
Exactly, and be more gentle with yourself and with your loved ones too. But stay away from toxicity. Stay away from toxic people. And I don't give a fuck if it's your mother or your father. Oh, I can't do that because it's my mom or my dad. You can't pick your family. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick who your family is. That does not mean you have to fuck with them. It does not mean you have to fuck with them. You'll
Good
realize
point.
when you surround yourself with more positive people, there's such a difference in the atmosphere. I'm realizing that because I haven't talked to my mother in 2 months, and it's sad, but I over and over again tried to have a relationship with her, and she's just very toxic. And it is my mother, but you know what? I have to be responsible for my life, and by letting toxicity in, what good am I going to be to my kids if I have that inside of me and have all this shit up inside of me? So if talking about things and using my voice to help other people, then that's what I'm going to do. My biggest thing was fear of being judged before. And when I thought about it, I was like, wow, I'm fear of being judged by my own family. The same family that abandoned me when I was pregnant at 16. Why? And, I thought about it, and Gary Vee really helped me with this. Why am I giving a fuck? They didn't. They're my family. That's my DNA. And, some people would disagree with this. That's good. That's cool. But you do not have to associate with people that are toxic. Mother, father, brother, sister, whatever it is. You don't have to. You could love them from a distance. So, everybody just stay kind, and shit is going to get hard in life, but you just got to keep pushing, You got to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
I think you're crazy if you don't talk to yourself. I think, people think, oh, someone's crazy if they talk to. I think you're crazy if you do not talk to yourself.
Everybody have an internal dialogue.
Absolutely.
But you need to control the dialogue. You don't need to get into this circle of your, let's say, ego.
Yes.
Directing your life. You need to be you have to understand the hardware. So if negativity comes up, you are aware and you're like, oh, this is negativity. I don't need to pay attention to it. I'm focusing on the good thing, on my children, on my dog, on the gym.
Yep. And that I'll be the first to say, you know, that like, listen, I think, you know, look, I'll be the first to say, look, I'm a Sicilian girl in New York. I have a bad mouth and I can have an attitude, but I'm just say things how it is. I'm not gonna go, you know, I'm not gonna go back and forth with somebody that leaves a comment on a video that I'm a bipolar bitch or some shit. You know, like, dude, like you took the time to do that, keyboard gangsta. Oh, yeah, all right. You know, like you're miserable. I pity you. I feel bad for you. Like you're that miserable.
But that's another thing with hate comments. I mean, if somebody even put this energy on to type in the hate,
what are they dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for them as well.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, what's going on in your head that you are putting this type of comment into a video, which is obviously not at all bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and these same adults need to be teaching their children, because children can be very, very cruel, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a known thing.
It is, and it's sad. We need to do better. We need to do better. We need to speak life into our youth.
And you know what? Another thing, I mean, our parents are responsible for us to grow up. It takes for somebody 20 years, and for other people it takes 30 years. But on the other hand, when the child is grown up, at one point the parents need to learn from the child. I mean, it's like giving and taking. Now my parents listen to me, and I'm super proud of myself as well that I do it. It's like, Mom, you shouldn't eat that, and Dad, you should move a little bit more. You're getting old.
That's so cute. Yeah. Well, I don't think my mother will ever listen to me, but you know, like I said, I've tried.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
Bella, thank you for sharing this this story with us. It was a pleasure.
Of course. Sorry if I was all over the place.
That's all right.
But yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And for everybody who stays until the end, I love every single one of you.
Me too. Yep.
Nice. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.